Well, Commissioner, Mr. President, I rise again, I'm afraid, to make the same old hoary speech that I've been making here for several years, and that is, it is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because
they fucking steal everything, and they have something called fractional reserve banking.
Because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they
don't have. They lend money that they don't have, and then they repurpose that money that they just printed out of thin air called ex nihilo. You can look it up, it's a Latin term. That means making something out of nothing. They create something out of nothing, and then what happens? They re-lend that money back to you with a fucking interest rate. That's how these guys get rich.
They don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money.
The artificial printing of money. And then people sit down, they work a 9-to-5 job, they work 24/7, they go to university, they get into debt, they don't understand money. They go and sit in with their financial advisors and pull out a $150,000 loan across 4 years because the government allows them to. They work a 9-to-5 job for 50 grand a year. They don't even understand what money is, why money exists, and that people can print it out of thin air. You are a slave to the system.
Which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money, and yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees.
Deposit guarantees. Every deposit that you put in, right, you're guaranteed money. You're guaranteed to get your money. And then guess what happens with fucking China? Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Guess what happened in China right now? People can't get their people can't get their fucking money out. Look at this shit. Look at what's happening right now in China. In real time, this is what's happening in China. Tanks are being put on the streets in China to protect the banks. This is a bank of the Henan branch of the Bank of China declaring that people's savings in their branch are now investment products and can't be withdrawn. This is happening in real time in China, but you're not going to hear about it because it's a scam. In what world? They're guaranteeing you money, that they're going to deposit your money, that you're going to be able to get the money that you deposit, and then you realize it's all a joke. Every single part of it. It's a scam.
So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.
We printed trillions of dollars, a complete disgrace and mismanagement of everything that's been built over the last decades in this country. Who's responsible? Who's responsible? Nobody. Nobody's responsible. Everybody points fingers, everybody blames another motherfucker, and that's the reality that we live in. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 hours and 20 minutes into the stream. I want to show you guys one last video. We're going to crank right through it, and then we're going to call it a day. I'm going to show you guys fractional reserve banking. I need you guys to understand the fractional reserve banking principle. W the stream if you guys are having fun. W the stream if you guys are leaving better than you came today. I'm giving you guys the sauce. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm educating you, I'm helping you get unplugged from the bullshit. Unplugged from the bullshit. Give me a W if this has been valuable to you guys. If this has been meaningful, if you guys are leaving better than you came today, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. And let's go ahead and get started with the last video. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We've had this YouTube channel up for maybe like 4 days, 3-4 days. 3-4 days. Not very long. We haven't had this channel up for very long. And we're already at 7,000 subs. We'll be at 10,000 subs by the end of the week, hopefully. So be on the lookout for the revolution. Be on the lookout for the takeover. I'm teaching you guys how this thing works, you know. I'm a retired multimillionaire. I got rich because of e-commerce. I got wealthy because of crypto. And now I'm in the mission of building Capital Club, the largest decentralized entrepreneurial network on planet Earth, focused on creating, multiplying, and preserving wealth. So you got to get educated. You got to get up to date. If you think for 1 second, that rich people and the people that run the world have the same information and play by the same rules that you do, you're sadly mistaken.